Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author Matt Adams.
Scottie Scheffler. He's now joined the company of golf's greats. He is the champion of the Open at Royal Portrush 2025. Scottie Scheffler, hugs and handshakes, and I suspect very soon some tears. He acknowledges the crowd. You can hear it. Fist pumps. Outruns his wife and baby. Oh, this is a magical moment. Absolutely magical.
What'd you think about that one, Matt?
That's incredible.
What'd you think about that one?
That's unbelievable. How did you make that? What did you do?
Well, that video is courtesy of the RNA, and the audio from the Open broadcast that you were on, you know, that was also coming through in the States on Sirius XM, and then, of course, around the world in various other mediums. And I was able to marry them up and time them exactly so that we could get all of that in all its glory. That was so special, Matt. I cannot imagine having been inside the ropes for what was something that was so historic. Let me get a photo. Andrew, can you get me the photo of, we have sort of a wide shot. Yeah, that's the one. Can you tell me, Matt, this is obviously when Scheffler won there. Where are you?
Well, when you hear what Dom just created there, matching the video with the audio, as he was explaining, I'm Open Radio, so we're the world radio broadcast of the Open, and myself and Paul Eels, you guys know Eelsy on the show, he's on with us quite a bit. He's a Legends Tour player in Europe now for the European Tour, or a winner on the European Tour, a board member, but now they call it DP World Tour, of course, and he was out there with me, and if you look at that yellow leaderboard in that photo that you put up, we're directly under it. You can kind of see us standing there in the rough, so we're probably 30, 40 feet off the green. And what I love about the piece of that you grabbed, because we were on for quite some time. What's great about radio, of course, and Steve Tebb and that was producing, he heads up everything about Open Radio. And Tebbsy was in my ear. I have a piece in my ear just like I have during this show. So when Dom's talking to me in the background, and Tebbsy's kind of guiding me along to, you know, let it breathe at certain spots, let the audience, the crowd, the gallery be heard from, etc. And again, that's kind of the beauty of radio. You can let things breathe like that. So the piece that Dom grabbed, the reason why I like it so much was that it's kind of a little microcosm, and I hadn't seen that. It's great. If you had asked me what I said during those moments of the live radio coverage, I wouldn't even know. You don't know. You kind of get swept up to it yourself, and honestly, it's emotional in those moments. It's quite incredible. But what I loved about that was Scottie Scheffler is so stoic, right? And Scottie, even coming into the week, remember when he spoke to the media and he told us that, you know, this isn't my life. I'll celebrate it for a couple of minutes, hug the family, hug my sister. I say, what's for dinner? I'm paraphrasing, but remember that whole speech that he did. Well, as he was marching to victory, and obviously because it was Scottie Scheffler, we were with him every shot, you know, the whole week. And even on that Sunday, and I'll get into it in more detail. I'll save it for later on in the show in terms of what the experience was like there throughout the course of the week, Dom. But in particular with Scottie was he stays so stoic. And I don't mean this as a negative judgment, but just as an observation. As far as the outside world goes, he remains, in my view, disengaged. And that's to stay insular in his world to do what he needs to do. And he's so Scottie Scheffler-esque in doing it. Think about what happened on the first hole. Hao-Tung Lee hits a brilliant shot to about 4.5 feet to set up birdie, right? First haymaker thrown by the heavyweights. What does Scottie Scheffler do? He brings it in right of the pin location, spins it back down the slope, and it gets to basically tap-in range. That's Scottie Scheffler. That's the current reigning world number one. So that moment that you just saw, where Scottie did two things. After he did the hugs and the handshakes and great, well played, et cetera, I was waiting for the emotion. And he held his arms up and the crowd reacted. There was an engagement there. And it was the first time that we saw that engagement, and the crowd roared. They were on their feet because of that connection. And almost instantaneously, he diverted his eyes. This was the angle that I was on. He diverts his eyes to seeing his wife Meredith, and she's holding on to baby Bennett. And they come marching up that hill. And then what did we have at that point? We had this private family moment on the grandest of public stages. It was so cool, and it was so neat to share that moment with Scottie Scheffler, where even if it lasts for a fleeting moment, by his admission days earlier, it seemed like more. So, and it seemed like something we were all sharing together. So, where I'm starting today with Scottie is not where you may have expected me to go, which is obviously, and I do want to hear from it, how does this feel? How do you relate to it? But to share with us in his words that exact moment.
Every time I'm able to win a tournament, the first person I always look for is my wife. And where we walk off each day is usually on the right side, and I didn't see her at first, so I was like, oh my gosh, like, where's Meredith? What happened? You know, she's not there. And as I kind of circled around the green, I saw my dad standing there, and I was like, okay, perfect, my family must be down there. And so I saw Meredith, and she's always the first person I want to celebrate with. You know, she knows me better than anybody. That's my best friend. And it takes a lot of work to be able to become good at this game, and I wouldn't be able to do it without her support. You know, she does a tremendous job of taking care of everything for us at home and giving me the ability to put in the amount of time and effort that I put into the game of golf, because it's a lot, and it's not a lifestyle that's suited for everybody. You know, we live a different lifestyle than some of our friends at home, traveling the way we do, but you know, we're very grateful for it. You know, it's a fun life for us, and being able to celebrate winning tournaments like this, I feel like, you know, my whole team, I feel like the whole team should be, their name should be on the trophy with me, because it really does. It takes a village. You know, I have a great team around me, and it all starts with my coach, Randy, and everybody's humble. They work together. Nobody has all the answers, and I feel like we have a great time, and we love being able to practice and work towards these things, and you know, it'll be even more fun getting home and being able to celebrate. Yeah, he was trying to get up that hill on the side of the green. I don't think he's ever been up a hill that big before. I felt kind of bad for him. He just kept falling down, but you know, that's part of the learning curve and growing up. And yeah, it's very cool to have him here. And you know, he obviously has no clue what's going on. He just wants to spend some time with me. I hadn't really seen him much of the day, so yeah, it's pretty cool. He doesn't know what a golf ball is, but he's either eating his golf club or he's hitting something with it, whether it be a piece of furniture or sometimes other kids. You know, we're working on it. But then, so yeah, it's pretty special to be able to celebrate here with my family. And you know, I hope Bennett's able to get into golf one day. You know, the game of golf's taught me a tremendous amount. You know, I feel like every day you go out and play golf, you're looking in the mirror. And I met some of my best friends through the game of golf. And you know, it's a very special game. You call penalties on yourself, and I mean, it's just, you learn a lot of good life lessons by playing golf. And so I hope he can play it one day, and I hope he enjoys it as much as I do.
That was one of my favorite parts of the week, to watch that interaction, to watch him up there with Meredith, and to watch little Bennett, and it was incredible. And like I said, everybody there was along for the ride, and I suspect all of you watching around the world were along for the ride as well. So yeah, I do want to know that question. In the tingling moments right after you win, and they usher you into that media center, How does it feel to have just won the 153rd Open?
It's a very special feeling. It takes a lot of work to get to this point in my career, and this was a tough week. It was challenging. The golf course was playing really tough, and I had to focus very hard over the course of the weekend. And really the only blemish over the last 36 holes was the double on 8, but did a good job of kind of resetting and coming back with a birdie on 9. And I guess this one was different than the PGA in terms of, I had a decent lead to start the day, but PGA I felt like I struggled a bit on the front 9, and then was able to kind of push forward and win it on the back 9, whereas this one I felt like I built up a lead. It got a little close there after the double on 8, but like I said, bounced back on 9 and was able to keep a pretty sizable lead for most of the day. It's a very cool walk. It's a very special walk. To be honest with you, walking up 18, I didn't really know if I was going to get that much support from the crowd. The crowd, I think, wanted somebody else to win this week, and I kind of got to play spoiler a little bit, which is fun as well. But it really was. It was a great reception. I heard a lot of the fans supporting me out there today. It was a really cool environment to be able to play, and you had a lot of guys out there supporting the local favorites, and then you had some people from the States coming out and supporting us, and it was a really interesting day, but it really was a lot of fun. Being able to walk up 18 with the tournament in hand is a really tough thing to describe. It's a really cool feeling. I have a lot of gratitude towards being able to accomplish something like this. It's taken a lot of work, and not only a lot of work, but it takes a lot of patience. And I mean, it's a high level of focus over 72 holes of a tournament. And this was, I felt like one of my best performances mentally. We did a really good job of staying in it all week. Like I said, to only have one double, or really only one over par hole over the last 36 holes of a major championship is, that's how you're able to win these tournaments, just being able to do stuff like that. And it takes a high level of focus. And, Teddy and I did a really good job this weekend of being committed to what we're doing and, holding some key putts when I needed them.
What's interesting about what Scottie was talking about there, I just want to go back to it for a second. People are focusing on the double bogey on 8, right? And the double bogey on 8 came about because of a mistake. But the 8th hole was when he finally got bit by the mistakes that he was making. And what reason I'm saying that is, and this also relates to what Scottie was saying with the crowd, the problems for Scottie Scheffler started on the 6th hole. The 6th hole is a par 3. And again, I'm not sure, for those of you that are watching this perhaps in North America, I don't know what you saw or what you heard, but I'll give you the account on the ground. Scottie's back on the tee, right? And that's the tee that the backdrop is nothing but the scary islands, and it's scary, not like scary like Halloween. It's the ocean that surrounds him. It's an incredibly beautiful backdrop. The Dunluce Castle is up to the right. And I'm standing up by the green. The green complex is raised, and there's a dune line that runs down the right side of the green complex, and the flag was on about 30 paces, almost tucked behind the dune on that right side of the green. Scottie Scheffler hit a nice tee shot, but he misjudged the distance. He needed 2 to 3 more paces to carry the dune line on that right side, which would kick the ball back towards the pin. Instead, he hit the face of the run out of the dune line, and it rejected the golf ball to run down into a valley probably 50 feet off the front of the green, right? That's kind of the nature of the greens at Royal Portrush. Part of it's what makes it so magnificent. So from there, Scottie hit an okay wedge into the middle of the green, left himself probably 25 feet for par. So we're watching this, and, you guys know probably, I'm guessing, the tendencies on the PGA Tour. From that distance, the make percentage is under 10%. He makes the putt. We're like, okay, little wobble there, but he took the hit and kept going. He goes to the par 5 7th. Massive Big Nelly bunker down there on the right. Have to avoid that bunker on the right. Get it. It's not a terribly long hole. I've got my sheet right in front of me. This is my actual score sheet from Sunday. On Sunday, the 7th was playing 619 yards, fairly straightaway par 5, but it rises up in front of you. The one thing you also have to avoid, the big bunker on the right's numero uno. Number 2 is the bunker that matches it, small Nelly on the left. right? You can see a little piece of it. No, that's not. That's another one, fairway one farther up. But you can see a little piece of it when you look at the wide shot on the left. It's tucked up there, right? So Scottie overplayed it. Frankly, he did, because of the way the ball was releasing. It was absolutely dry and fast. He didn't need to hit the club that he hit. In other words, he didn't need to hit the club that would get him into that little bunker, and that's exactly what he did. That was a mistake. Again, it was a little bit of a mental wobble, where on the hole before, he could have played a safe shot, a tee shot that was 25, 30 feet from the pin into the fat of the green, and instead, he was aggressive on his line, and it cost him. Too aggressive. So he blasts it out of the bunker at 7, hits his next shot towards the green. He had about 185, 190 with his third shot into the green, and it hit the left side of the green and then bounded down into a run-out swale. From there, he chipped it up. He was aggressive, and it ran past the hole, I guess, around 18 to 20 feet. Again, I'm watching this going, these are mistakes. These are a series of mistakes that we're watching from Scottie Scheffler. Nobody was closing in on him at that point, but everybody was eagerly watching to see where would this lead. Once again, the flat stick saved Scottie Scheffler. Coming into the final round, he was 5th in the field in putting. So it was impressive. So again, saved. Goes to 8, makes another mistake. This time finds the fairway bunker right. Paul Eales is with me because we go out in two-person teams. Ealesy goes over. This is a guy that's a winner on the European Tour, as it was called in his day, and more. He knows what he's talking about. He goes over and he looks at it, and I said, what do you think of the lie? Does he have room? Yeah, he's got room. It looks like he's going to be aggressive with this one. And I said to Ealesy, I said, isn't there a risk with this? He catches the top of the bunker. Again, that's a mistake. Long story short, because I'm sure you guys saw it, he ends up making a double bogey on 8, and people focus on that and go, well, that was his lone mistake. That wasn't his lone mistake. That was the culmination of 3 holes of mistakes, which was really interesting. He got away with it in the first 2 because of the putter saved him, but on 8, it bit him, and there was nothing he could do. On 9, he blasted a drive that we had at 353 yards down the right side. 92 yards in, stuck it, a dart, makes birdie, and that was it. From then on, he was Scottie who had jumped into a phone booth and came out as Super Scottie from there. Absolutely incredible. We have more to share with you today, including more from Scottie Scheffler on, was he going to enjoy this victory more than 2 minutes? Remember the aforementioned comments that he made leading into the week. Plus, I as I was telling you, I want to take a look at this with all the complexity that is Scottie Scheffler from the perspective of other players as well. Much to still go through here on the Fairways of Life show in the wake of the 153rd Open. I know you guys want to play your best golf. You can do it with Newton Golf. Log on to newtongolfco.com because Newton golf shafts have an elongated load, an elongated weight profile. What this means is as you get the club to the top of your backswing, that elongated weight, it's called load when people are measuring it, the best teachers in the world. And for most people, they never really feel it. They're too fast in transition. They're casting as they come through. Newton golf shafts, whether you are one of the best players in the world, whether you're one of the big power players in the world, like long drive champions, Champions Tour players that are using it predominantly, this shaft is changing the game at every level. Log on to newtongolfco.com and see how and why. You may not need a new driver. You may need a new golf shaft.
Head down, water down the left, bunker down the right, take the club straight back.
Wandering minds. When golfers lose their focus, they're totally... But Bridgestone can help. Introducing Mindset. The ball scientifically designed to keep you focused. First, identify your target. Next, visualize your shot path.
And then focus on the green dot and smooth one.
Play the Tour B and E12 with Mindset technology.
See what happens when we work together? Stuff like that.
FlightScope Mevo Plus is the ultimate indoor and outdoor golf launch monitor and simulator. It gives you the club and ball data you need with the accuracy you demand. Mevo Plus comes with ownership of simulated golf courses for you to play and practice at home. Mevo Plus is an essential golf partner to help you improve and understand your game better. Put more purpose in your practice. To learn more and get your Mevo Plus, shop now at flightscope.com.
Golfers today are a different breed.
Who? Me?
We see the game in a different way.
We all have our own style.
We swing our own swing. But we have one thing in common.
We are all about the details.
Introducing the Revel line of grips from Superstroke. With 3 distinct offerings to choose from, the Revel is in the details.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Middle market businesses are facing unprecedented shifts, which demand tailored solutions and decisive action. RSM stands as the unwavering leader of the middle market, empowering you to take charge of change and conquer this era of transformation. RSM, experience the power of being understood.
I think we live now in a day and age of where, clickbait is kind of what people look for, and you can shorten a 5-minute clip into, 3 words. I think really underestimates what I was trying to communicate. Maybe I didn't do as effective of a job of what I would have hoped to in communicating that, but, at the end of the day, I have a tremendous amount of gratitude towards moments like these. I've literally worked my entire life to become somewhat good at this game, to be able to play this game for a living, and it's one of the great joys of my life being able to compete out here, and to be able to win the Open Championship here at Portrush is a feeling that's really hard to describe. I'm very fortunate to be able to come out here and live out my dreams. I grew up a kid in Texas that wanted to play professional golf. I grew up wearing pants to the golf course because that's what I wanted to do. I saw professional golfers like Justin Leonard, Harrison Frazier, those types of guys on TV wearing pants, and I was like, I want to be like those guys. So I used to wear pants to grow up to play golf. And it'd be 100 degrees out. I'd be way too hot. People would make fun of me. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a professional golfer, so I wore pants. And, I don't know why I'm so lucky that I get to live out my dreams, but it's something that I'm very grateful for. And so if somebody's going to listen to the comments I had this week, I would encourage them to listen to all of it. And hopefully I did a good job of communicating that, yeah, this is amazing to win the Open Championship, but at the end of the day, having success in life, whether it be in golf or work or whatever it is, that's not what fulfills the deepest desires of your heart. Am I grateful for it? Do I enjoy it? Oh my gosh, yeah, this is a cool feeling. I can't wait to get home and celebrate this championship, with the people that have kind of helped me along the way. But at the end of the day, it doesn't fulfill the deepest desires of my heart. And but it's just tough to describe when you haven't lived it. Something I actually talked to Shane about this week was, just because you win a golf tournament or accomplish something, it doesn't make you happy. It doesn't, maybe for a few moments, maybe for a few days, but at the end of the day, there's more to life than playing golf. But, I'm pretty excited to go home and celebrate this one. I would say my greatest priorities are my faith and my family. Those come first for me. Golf is third in that, in that order. And, I've said it for a long time. Golf is not how I identify myself. I don't identify myself by winning tournaments, chasing trophies, being famous or whatever it is. Like, when I go home, if I go to There's 2 Chipotles that I eat at home. There's one, well, actually, not really one anymore. There's one right where I grew up. It's kind of near SMU's campus. If I was to go to that Chipotle and try to eat nowadays, it would be very difficult for me. There's another one in a different part of town that I'm not going to tell you where it is. But if I go there, nobody recognizes me ever. And so famous is just one of those things. It's like, in some circles, like, right now I'm the best player in the world. This week I was the best player in the world. You know, I'm sitting here with the trophy. We're going to start all over in Memphis, you know, back to even par. The show goes on. And it's hard to describe what it feels like because, yeah, I don't feel any different because I've won a golf tournament. You know, this is not the be-all, end-all for me, but I'm extremely grateful for it. I mean, I have, kid you not, I have worked since I was 2 or 3 years old to have a chance to play professional golf for a living. And now I've been able to win tournaments that I just dreamed of playing in. And it's an amazing feeling, and I'm so grateful to be able to live out my dreams. But, you know, like I said, my faith in my family is what's most important to me. And I try to live as normal a life as possible because I feel like a normal guy. I have the same friends I had growing up. I don't think that I'm anything special just because, you know, some weeks I'm better at shooting a lower score than other guys are.
He is absolutely remarkable, aside from just giving us the modern gauge for fame, the Chipotle measure. What he is doing is historic. And although on some measure I think there's calling for pumping the brakes of immediately making him comparable, say, to Tiger, and he's going to comment on the same in just a second. I'm going to share that with you. I do want to celebrate and to illustrate how remarkable it is what we're seeing happening right before our eyes. A 4-time major champion. He's 29 years old, and he just turned 29. The PGA Championship he also won in 2025. 2 times he's won the Masters already. He was the Olympic gold medalist at the Paris Olympics in 24. He now has 17 PGA Tour wins. 2 times he has represented the United States in a Ryder Cup, soon to be 3. 2 times he's represented the United States in the President's Cup teams. FedEx Cup champion in 24. 3-time PGA Tour Player of the Year. And he thinks it's going to be soon to be 4. Number 1 in the official world golf rankings, as you guys know. The 267 aggregate is a personal best 72-hole score in a major championship for him. His previous best was 270. That was back in 2020 at the PGA. He finished tied for 4th. This was the record 12th consecutive first-time Open Championship winner. Goes all the way back to Ernie Els before you had to repeat. 7th Open Championship winner. 7th. To record 4 rounds in the 60s and the first since Colin Morikawa did in 2021. Is that not amazing? 7th all time. Only Scottie Scheffler and Tiger Woods, Tiger did it 3 times, have won the Open as a reigning world number 1. That's what I was referencing when you heard the Open sound, because Dom clipped it. That was the context of why I said, now you've joined the company of the greats, right? Because it was Tiger and him, and they're the only ones that did it as a reigning world number 1. Now you could hear that and go, wait a minute, they've only started keeping track of world number 1 since 1986. You'd be right. 9th player to win the Masters, a PGA, and an Open in their career. 9th. All right, Scottie Scheffler in history. 31st player all-time to win 4 or more majors. This is the categories that he's starting to hang in. One of just 17 in history with 17-plus PGA Tour wins and 4-plus majors. 17. First modern golfer to have won his first 4 majors by 3 or more strokes. Let that sink in. He joins Jack. He joins Tiger. They're the only ones. 17-plus wins and 4-plus majors before the age of 29. You see what I'm talking about here? The significance of this? 25 major starts. Scottie has 4 wins, 9 top 5s, and 16 top 10s. Again, let that simmer. He's 111 under par in majors since 2020. That's 46 better than second with that stroke average, with those strokes. Yeah. Becomes just the 53rd player to collect 17 or more wins on the PGA Tour. Only player with top 10s in all of the 2025 majors. He could be the 7th to win a Grand Slam with a U.S. Open victory next year. Okay, so this is what I love. the Scheffler stretch, the last 36 events, only 36 events, folks, 12 wins, including 3 majors, a gold medal, a Players, a Tour Championship, and the FedEx Cup. 30 top 10s. Are you kidding me? This is just 2025 so far. In 16 events, he has 4 wins, including 2 majors, 13 top 10s. In 2024, in 20 events, he had 8 wins, including a major, and 17 top 10s. This is the post-Tiger modern era, right? 3+ majors from 2013 and now. Rory with 5 and 29 tour wins, he's 36. Brooks with 5, 9 PGA Tour wins, and now plays on Live, he's 35. Scottie with 4, 17 PGA Tour wins, he's 29. Jordan Spieth, 3 with 13 PGA Tour wins, he's 31. It is truly, absolutely incredible what we're witnessing before us. Now, how you place Scottie in terms of his place in golf history right now, that's where it starts to get a little bit complicated. And that's what I was alluding to earlier in terms of saying, yeah, we got to pump the brakes a little bit with direct comparisons to Tiger. You can do it at a relative level. Tiger with 4 majors, Scottie with 4 majors, the amount of time it took him to get to that, remarkably the same in terms of days, not the same in terms of age, etc. But he's on a path. How his peers react to what he's doing is where I want to go next, because we can observe, we can enjoy, we can be amazed, but it's how your peers judge you, the other best players in the world, that I think says a lot about who you are. We are the PXG Custom Studios. The Fairways of Life show continues right after this.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
Golf season is back, baby. Play the best rounds of your life with PXG. I feel like dancing. I feel like dancing. Visit PXG.com to see what we can do for your game. I feel groovy, so groovy. PXG, you've never played like this before.
Golfers today are a different breed.
Who? Me?
We see the game in a different way.
We all have our own styles.
We swing our own swing. We have one thing in common.
We are all about the details.
Introducing the Revel line of grips from Superstroke. With 3 distinct offerings to choose from, the Revel is in the details.
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. You know, Hub's Peanuts has been cooking up the top 1% of peanuts for over 70 years. And these aren't your average nut. These are super extra large Virginia peanuts cooked in the USA. Family-owned Hub's Peanuts have more protein than any other nuts. So whether it's a boost on the course or a special gift, the variety of flavors guarantees Hub's Peanuts is just what you need. Family-owned, nutritious, delicious, and sustainable. Hub's Peanuts, it's just right. HubsPeanuts.com.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
You know, Tiger won, 15 majors? It's my fourth. Just got 1/4 of the way there. So I think Tiger stands alone in the game of golf. You know, he was inspirational for me growing up, and he was a very, very talented guy, and he was a special person to be able to be as good as he was at the game of golf. And I don't focus on that kind of stuff. That's not what motivates me. I'm not motivated by winning championships, and I don't look at the beginning of the year and just say, hey, I want to win X amount of tournaments. I want to win, whatever it is. I don't do that. I have dreams and aspirations that I think about, but at the end of the day, when I wake up and to practice, I feel like what motivates me is just getting out and, getting to live out my dream. I get to play professional golf, and I feel like I'm called to do it to the best of my ability. And so when I wake up in the morning, I try and put max effort in each day. I get to go out and practice, and when I'm working out, when I'm doing the cold tub and doing recovery, I feel like I'm just called to do it to the best of my ability, and outside of that, I don't place much emphasis on winning tournaments. I don't place much emphasis on things that I can accomplish. It's just mostly about putting in the proper work and coming out here and competing. I mean, no, I just got off the golf course a few minutes ago. I feel like that's one of those funny things that I think since Rory accomplished that this year, it's on the the front of everybody's mind. Just because it is such an historic accomplishment in the game of golf. I mean, what a tremendous thing for Rory to be able to accomplish, to win all 4 major championships is pretty dang special. And, it's for sure a career achievement. But, like I said, I don't focus too much on that stuff. When this season ends after the Ryder Cup for me, I'll get home and I'll assess kind of where my game's at and things I can improve on, and then kind of go from there. I don't think about winning tournaments. I just look at the body of work I have and just think about ways to improve.
What's incredible about Scottie Scheffler is he references by saying, well, I don't focus on. His ability to disconnect from those areas that consume everybody else. Oh, I don't worry about winning championships. What? Now, I did want to follow up on one thing where he said earlier in the show, you heard him talking about the fact that he said, well, I know that the gallery, most of them weren't pulling for me. They wanted someone else to win. That someone else was Rory McIlroy. And what I described for you earlier of what I witnessed at the 6th when he made a mistake. He missed that tee shot too far to the right. He was too aggressive on his line, and then he didn't hit it far enough to carry the ridge. Okay, it was an error. But what happened there that I'm not sure, again, because I don't know what you're seeing or hearing wherever you watched your coverage from around the world, and I didn't see or hear anything of what you may have seen for those of you watching us, let's say, in the United States. There was a large segment of the crowd that actually cheered as that ball hit that ridge line and trundled down in front of the green. And Scottie was his stoic self. But this is where you get the competitor. This is where you get the human being that otherwise seems to be able to disconnect in ways that no one else seemingly can. When he made that putt, he gave the most emphatic fist pump. It was the most emotion that I'd seen from Scottie Scheffler up until that point, and the most emotion I saw from Scottie Scheffler until that moment on 18 that we opened the show with today. As to Scottie Scheffler and how other players react to Scottie, Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Harris English, Bryson DeChambeau, Xander Schauffele, they all weighed in on the world number 1 and the reigning champion golfer of the year.
None of us could hang with Scottie this week. He's an incredible player. He's been dominant this week, but honestly, he's been dominant for the last couple of years. He's, he is the bar that we're all trying to get to. And, in a historical context, you could argue that there's only maybe 2 or 3 players in the history of the game that have been on a run that the one that Scottie's been on here for the last sort of 24 to 36 months. So incredibly impressive.
He doesn't care to be a superstar. He's not transcending the game like Tiger did. He's not bringing it to non-golf audience necessarily. He doesn't want to go do, the stuff that, a lot of us go do corporately, anything like that. He just wants to get away from the game and separate the two, because I know that he, at one time felt it was too much, that he was taking it with him. And, whenever he made that switch, I don't know when it was, but, he has hobbies, he's always with his family. They're always doing stuff. So I think it's more so the difference in personality from any other superstar that you've seen in the modern era and maybe any sport. I don't think anybody's like him.
It's pretty incredible. Just how good of a front runner he is. I mean, he's improved his putting. I mean, there's no stat that he's bad in. I mean, it's like, how do you beat this guy? But he works so hard, and see him in the gym all the time, see him practicing. I mean, he's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. And to have #1 in the world working that hard, it just makes it that much harder to catch him. So what he's doing right now is incredible.
I mean, Scottie's in a league of his own right now, and I played with him a bunch in college, and he was not that good. So he's figured out a lot of stuff since then, and it's really impressive to see, and something all we can learn from.
He's incredible. He really is. I don't think we thought the golfing world would see sort of someone as dominant as Tiger come through so soon, and here's Scottie sort of taking that throne of dominance. You can't even say he's on a run. He's just been killing it for over 2 years now. So he's a tough man to beat, and when you see his name up on the leaderboard, it sucks for us.
So in all those voices that you just heard from, all of those players, all of his peers, it's pretty much, I think, what we probably expected to hear from them, that he's playing on another plane right now. We're trying to catch him, but he's in front of everybody. I thought, though, the most telling comments came from Jordan Spieth, where amongst other things that he said was, and obviously it was in reference to probably a question about comparing Scottie to Tiger. I didn't hear the original question. I wasn't at that interview. And he said of Scottie, quoting, he doesn't transcend the game. He said more than that, but that piece there caught me. And I suppose it's a conversation for another day. Does a player that is numero uno now by every measure, at this point, by every measure, do they have a responsibility to transcend the game? Or is it about what they do with the clubs in their hand and letting that speak, that defines Scottie as a different type of superstar? Which one do you want? Even to the point where I heard some people criticizing and saying, well, it was a boring final round. And immediately where my mind went was, this, I believe, is a major championship of significance that we cannot fully appreciate it until we look back on it in retrospect. What time frame that will be until we fully understand its historic context is yet to be defined. And to the point of saying a major championship victory that is and was dominant was boring, I would say, yeah, look back on the history. Look back on those victories where Tiger winning by 15 was boring. But now we look back upon it shaking our head saying that was one of the greatest triumphs we ever saw. Jack did it as well. That's part of the divide between what's right in front of your nose and what, from a historic perspective, we start to understand where it fit. Now, Rory McIlroy was coming in with a great deal of history on his shoulders. At 16 years old, yes, granted it was on a track that was designed differently at Royal Portrush, he shot a 61. Course record. The modern course record, they're still saying, belongs to Shane Lowry now after what he did in 2019. However, in 2019, Rory opened with an 8. From there, he fought back gallantly on Friday and just missed getting to the weekend. This time he got to the weekend. But there was so much weight on Rory McIlroy every step of the way. He tried to embrace it. In full credit to Rory McIlroy, ends up finishing in a tie for 7th, rounds of 70, 69, 66, with a thrilling run on Saturday that electrified the property, and then a 69 on Sunday. Here's Rory McIlroy looking back on his week.
You know, I tried as best as I could to keep my emotions in check, especially walking up the last there and that reception. Yeah, look, it's been an awesome week. You know, I've gotten everything I wanted out of this week apart from a claret jug, and you know that's just because one person was just a little bit better than the rest of us. But it's been an amazing week. You know, just I feel so thankful and just so lucky that I get to do this. I get to do this in front of this crowd. You know, hopefully I'll have one or two opens left here if the RNA decide to keep coming back. Probably one while I'm still competitive and one while I'm more grey than I already am. But it's been incredible to come back here and to play and, you know, at least feel like I had a chance today going out there. So, yeah, just an awesome week. Yeah, I do. But I also had the 3 wins when Scottie wasn't quite on his game. So, yeah, he's, you know, but I do. I feel good. I feel like being back in Europe for a bit was a nice reset. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting back to where I want to be, and you know, we've still got a lot of golf left this year. You know, with obviously Ryder Cup being the big one in there in September, and just make sure you know, I don't want to play too much leading up to that because, you know, I want to be fresh. So I'm looking forward to a few weeks off here, and you know, I'll you know, reflect on what's been already a good year and you know, start to get myself ready for that run up to the Ryder Cup.
It definitely seemed like Rory McIlroy hit kind of a reset button this past week at Royal Portrush. They were the group in front of us on Sunday, and because we have to be in front of the players that we're following in order to call the shots, we were right there as he was coming into the 18th green complex, and everybody in the grandstand were on their feet. Standing ovation for Rory. It was really cool. Here he is back in his home country. He completed the career Grand Slam. He gave it a good effort this week. I mean, obviously they wanted him to win because that would have been the true incredible story, but it wasn't meant to be. But what was the appreciation of Rory McIlroy and the home crowd, and it was very cool to feel it. Bryson DeChambeau, I was assigned to follow him on day one. He ended up shooting a 78. And what I saw from Bryson DeChambeau was a player that was attempting to use his power to do what Bryson DeChambeau does. Take it on very aggressive lines. In some ways, if you please, you could define it by saying he was trying to overpower the golf course, but that's his game. That's who he is. Well, on that day, it kept getting him in trouble. It kept getting him in that rough. At times, the ball was above him. At times, the ball was too far below him. I just saw him put himself in positions from which he could not recover. He shot a 78. But Bryson DeChambeau is so smart that he recovered. He went on to shoot rounds of 65, 68, finished with a 64. He finishes tied for 10th after starting with a 78. Bryson reflects.
Look, it was fair conditions the past few days, and I've always told you guys I like it when it's fair conditions. I can play well. I still have to crack the code when it's raining and windy. But I feel like we're getting there, and we're getting close to some opportunities and solutions to that. It just takes a long time to develop stuff. I'm starting to learn. But it was a fun 3 days. I was really proud of the way I turned it around and gave myself actually some hope on the third round after I was 3 under. That first 9, I thought, okay, if I go shoot 4 or 5 under on the back, you know, give myself a chance on Sunday, throw myself up there and then go out and play just as good as I did, like I did today, I could be right up there and giving Scottie a run. But I mean, Scottie's in a league of his own right now, and I played with him a bunch in college, and he was not that good, so he's figured out a lot of stuff since then, and it's really impressive to see, and something all we can learn from. It's an honor, really. I mean, when I came out here on the scene, you know, people had a perception of me, and albeit I knew who I was, it was difficult to express that, and I couldn't say it, and so I was really lucky to find YouTube and have that kind of be the showcase for me, and maturing a little bit and understanding how to learn and realizing what this great game is all about.
All right, Bryson DeChambeau, after his finish for tie for 10th at the Open. We're going to be back with more of the Fairways of Life show right after this. Stay with us.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
What does it take to be an original?
Cam knows something about that. So does Chi-Chi, Charlie, and you get it. In 1955, we stepped onto the scene. Now a new generation of pros are wearing the most iconic styles in the game. The fit, the feel, the look. It's all an expression of you. Original Penguin. Here for the good times.
Innovation has been at the heart of every SuperStroke grip we've ever created, cementing our status as the #1 putting grip on tour. Now the best just got better. Introducing SuperStroke Synergy, our most advanced putting grips ever, for unmatched confidence to quiet your hands and your mind. Find the perfect grip for your game at superstrokeusa.com.
Independent tester Golf Ball Addict tested 100 of the best golf balls available and ranked PXG's 2 tour balls at #1 and #2, each scoring a 10 of 10 in performance, a 10 of 10 in durability, and a 10 of 10 in value. So what are you waiting for? Visit PXG.com or a PXG location near you to pick up your PXG Extreme Tour or Extreme Tour X golf balls for only $34.99 a dozen. PXG, you've never played like this before.
FlightScope Mevo Plus is the ultimate indoor and outdoor golf launch monitor and simulator. It gives you the club and ball data you need with the accuracy you demand. Mevo Plus comes with ownership of simulated golf courses for you to play and practice at home. Mevo Plus is an essential golf partner to help you improve and understand your game better. Put more purpose in your practice. To learn more and get your Mevo Plus, shop now at flightscope.com.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
Matt, I have to show you a graphic as we're wrapping up the show today. We put together something. This is Matt Adams' week here at the Open Championship. Andrew, I think it's yeah, that's it. I think that's it right there. Can you throw that up there? So Matt's week at the Open Championship looked like this, with all the stuff that you were doing on site, Matt, and we have some accompanying photos too that we can throw up there. You know, I know we only have a couple minutes left in the show, but can you just, tell us about this experience?
It's amazing. Open Radio is the world radio feed of the Open, and I've been broadcasting with them for, I don't know, going on 20 years or so. So what happens is we get assigned groups, and on Thursday morning, as you could see, I started with Patrick Cantlay and Cameron Young and Mackenzie Hughes, and then our afternoon, and there's no carts there, there's no buggies, they say, that to carry on. Everything's on foot, so we're doing like 35,000 steps a day, which is awesome. Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Rose, Bob McIntyre. Then they switched me over to Jason Day, Jakob Skov Olason, you remember the young man that was leading for a while, Taylor Montgomery. Friday morning was Tyrrell Hatton, Russell Henley, Minwoo Lee, and Dom, you can go to those photos and show, or Andrew, show that's Paul Eels, who I was telling you about. I was working with. He was the first day. Russell Henley, Minwoo Lee, then Christian Bezuidenhout, Rasmus Højgaard, Romain Lagasse. Friday afternoon, that's Amy Bolton, a former LET player. John Rahms, Xander Schauffele, JJ Spawn. On Saturday morning, I had 2 sessions. That's Sophie Walker, who's absolutely brilliant as well. She's a former LET player, works for Sky right now. Saturday morning, I had to do these 2 one-on-ones in 2 different places with Sir Nick Faldo, which was great. It was the day after his birthday, which was fun. He told some amazing stories. After that, on Saturday afternoon, I had Brian Harman and Haotung Lee. That's Justin Ware from SiriusXM, and Ramey Burns was my partner that day. He's a former European Tour player. And that shot there was from Sunday. I was assigned to the final group with Scottie Scheffler and Haotung Lee. And as you could tell, I was with Ilse on that final day, which was awesome because he's one of my best friends in the world. So it was really, really cool to have the experience and so much fun. And it was fun sharing it with all you guys. Dom mentioned that it was on SiriusXM in North America, which was really cool as well. Thank you, guys, for this show today. We got so much more to continue to talk about, to continue to go through. I still don't think we fully sorted Scottie Scheffler and his place, and I don't necessarily think there is an answer yet, but I'm curious what all you guys think about it as well. Until we are together again, please be well, and goodbye for now.